Perhaps I could tell you a campfire story. Except this story is not just a story, it's events, things that have happened, things that were seen. Well, I could tell you honestly, I've only heard and found the evidence of the existence of Sasquatch in these parts of the woods where I'm at right now, in Fred Candy's area. Majority of the evidence has been very fresh, and since I've been studying this location, I am narrowing it down to a very serious location. Coming back to this camping spot over and over and over and over again, and scouting the area, hiking deep into the woods where it is very unlikely where a majority of people do travel on a regular basis. I have found the various signs and evidence where all the different species of animals. I've seen the bear tracks, I've seen the coyote tracks, I've seen deer, turkey, raccoons, and other little critters. But among all them, I found something else much bigger that stands out. The very large tracks of a creature that we all know as Bigfoot or Sasquatch. An unclassified walking upright primate, believed to be among many theories to many people as different species, as a different species to many, but I will classify him as a unclassified primate, an ape, descendant of Gigantopithecus, who once roamed Earth. But according to this mainstream scientist, he has gone extinct. But did he really go extinct? He was a 9 to 12 foot tall primate, or classified as an ape back in the prehistoric era. I've heard heavy movement. I've heard howls and wails not related to known species or animals in these woods. In my main research area, they are very used to me. They've seen me there, and not, and it's not just me. That area gets a lot of campers, a lot of hikers, and I've had very loud walking with thumps, with every step crashing and snapping everything in its way on the ground. I've had other campers, friends, close friends who I trust with complete honesty, have the same things run and happen right by their camp. And people that know the sound of bears moving in the woods, the sounds of something walking heavy between 500 and 600 pounds, and the sound of the heavy steps as it ran flat-footed, unlike a bear. They don't do that. The Sasquatches are getting very bold in these areas. I've seen them. One thing I've learned, they're very curious creatures, but yet they're also shy. They don't want to be seen, but yet they're going to be observant because they're very curious. They like to watch. Right now, as I tell this story, it's 8:31 p.m., May 15th. I could be being watched right now as I'm sitting in my chair looking at this fire in front of my blazer by the roadway. I have nothing but woods behind me, in front of me, and all around me. I found foot tracks. I found trackways, individual tracks. I found structures and formations not made by weather, Does weather take trees and twist them around other trees and limbs to tie them together? Does weather take trees with the root ball away from its original location and stand them up, forming other formations such as teepee structures and different odd designs, X formations? I don't think so. Think again. Just because you have not seen a Bigfoot or Sasquatch creature, if you do your studies and if you do your research the right way, how could you deny the existence of such a creature? How could you call everybody through history, even law officials who reported such, how could you call them all liars and people that are weird because they see something that you haven't seen? Think about it. There's so much that you cannot deny if you look into it and you spend enough time in the woods. That's how you learn. Just being in the woods and learning what's out here and what does what, and know how to compare from natural things like such as the weather to the behaviors and patterns of known wildlife, especially your bears. I'm telling you, your bears have a lot of similarities and a lot of common behaviors with a Sasquatch. There's so many things you have to consider and look into. I tell you what, I've had some experiences as far as seeing, as far as the sound of very large, heavy creatures making loud crash and thump sounds as they step and walk, like I mentioned earlier. Two years ago, in 2013, I could recall with Fred Canny, nothing but woods around us, and right behind our camp where we hiked earlier that day, around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, we had a Sasquatch come to our camp. There's no denying it was a Sasquatch. He made himself known, not by visual, but by sound. 4 to 5 times in a row, about 5 seconds apart, he clearly whoop, whoop, just like that, about 4 to 5 times, about 5 seconds apart. He made himself very known. I tell you what, it was the most exciting thing to hear it, but the most disappointing thing was it wasn't being recorded. The audio recorder was not playing or not recording. But, there's a lot of things that happen when you're not prepared, and, a lot of things unexpectedly happen. That's just the name of the game. It happens to anybody. It will happen to anybody. So, there's some pretty cool things that happen out here. Explore nature. Explore your wildlife. Get to know your wildlife. Get to know the environment in the woods. Study a specific location. Know what's out there. Know the layout of the land, the trees, what structures and fallen trees are already there. Keep going out from time to time, observing changes. That's how we learn. That's what we pick up on. And that's what's going on. But right now, to end this story, this documentary, consider the possibilities. For those who don't believe or skeptics, there's something you need to check into. If you have a curiosity, find someone who's seasoned in wildlife, or someone who goes out, a known Bigfoot researcher, and such as me. I'm an independent wildlife and Bigfoot researcher. I study both wildlife and the findings of Bigfoot. There's so much out here that I've picked up on and I've learned. And, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of things I will not rule out on, but there's a lot that you could rule out. The known species. You could rule out weather. and you can narrow it down to what really is, and it all comes down to Bigfoot. I don't care if you don't believe. That's your ignorance. You know, that's the fact. Your ignorance, your disbelief, your skeptic. You being skeptic, or you not believing. I'm sorry, but that's your ignorance. I advise you to look a lot deeper into the mystery. It is a mystery, and a lot of it, even seeing, is still going to be a mystery, because you want to understand them. You want to understand their patterns. And even though you can't probably hear, I'm hearing the sounds right now. I'm hearing stuff around me because it's getting dark, and that's when they get really active. There's been a few bold accounts where there's been daytime sightings and events. But everything I've experienced was pretty much during the late night. That's why I got my coffee poured. I'm ready to stay up for a while. Got the night vision ready. I'm ready to, get this done. I'm ready to rock and roll out here. So stay tuned. And, I can't wait to share more. If you're curious and you want to know more, just ask. Good night.